I think certain people have certain mandates and feel connected to things which are different than others. Personally, I don't have any sense of connection for government in a praying. Well, I would support the government in they got a tough job in looking to keep us safe and whatever, and I wouldn't want that job. And therefore, giving them a sense of positive support and prayer, I've got no issue with that whatsoever. It's not something personally that I particularly feel. But I know a lot of people do. Ultimately, I don't think any human government has the answer to solve the problems that we face in society, only God's kingdom. And I'm not sure that we can expect a natural government to operate as if it was God's kingdom. But if there are Christians within government, then they are going to have a positive influence within government. And we should expect that positive influence to have a good result. But per se, I think all man-made systems will eventually fall away, and we'll see them for what they are. They're our best attempts at doing something which will never match up to God's kingdom. But in the meantime, we live under it. So we really need to see responsibility for ensuring peace was within our spheres of authority. And when it's a national thing, you've got a whole lot of issues around how government works and functions. An insight that God gives to things which may need legislating into, I think, is part of our sonship mandate to maintain peace and to look at having an environment which is safe and secure and which is a good place to live. Now you can't expect government to do things which are kingdom spiritual dynamics. That's not their job. They're unlikely to see the things that we do in the world and operate in the same way as we would towards them. But if you're looking at departments of government, how can we support them operating in a way which is aligned with the things of God, then I think that's a good aim, and it's a good thing if that's what people feel called to do. Now, ultimately, our problem comes if we're partisan and don't support our government, but will only support the government if our party is in government. That is a problem for a lot of Christians. They are very partisan, and therefore, if the government is the party that isn't their one that they want, then they will be anti the government, and they'll be negative towards the government, and they will run down the government, and that is not a good thing. Even if politically you don't necessarily agree with all the goals or aims that a particular government is doing, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have a perspective of blessing the people in government and wanting those people to be blessed, not undermining them, not criticizing them. Now, of course, if they do things which are contradictory to the love of God and everything else, then we're not going to agree with them. But how we disagree with them can be done in a honoring and loving way, and not a way which basically, castigates them and maligns them as if they're doing something deliberately, to hurt us. I don't think any government does things to deliberately hurt their people, but they may not do the things that we like, but they're doing their best generally under a very difficult situation. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.